Dr. Lippy and I'm a dermatologist, and today we are having a live session on sunscreens, myths and facts. Sunscreens have increasingly become a part of our life, and all of us spend a lot of time finding which sunscreen to use, and there are certain myths which we have about sunscreens. So today I'm here for a live session to solve your myths and to brief you about sunscreens. So Mr. Bipin has requested me. I hope, Bipin, I am audible now. So to begin, it's important for us to understand that why we need to use a sunscreen. The UV spectrum which the sun gives us is composed of UVA, UVB and UVC. Along with this, we also have visible light and infrared radiation. So to begin with, it was first the UVB which was considered to be the damaging UV spectrum, and as all humans try, we try to block it. So this is how the history of sunscreen started. So we started using products which would decrease the penetration of UV radiation. The damage which UV radiation causes on our skin includes tanning, sunburn. It increases the risk of squamous cell and melanoma, which is very, very common in countries which have more UV radiation, as well as when people are more brighter and have a more lighter skin tone. In Indians, luckily, we don't have a risk of melanoma. We see more of squamous cell carcinomas. So initially the sunscreens which started, they were more covering the UVB spectrum. Now the wavelength of UVA, UVB and UVC is so that UVC is from 100 to 290 nanometer, and this is the wavelength which is generally prevented by the ozone layer. So very less of it reaches the sun and the skin. The UVA and the UVB spectrum is one which is more damaging, and it has been shown that both UVA and UVB are damaging to the skin. It also increases the chances of photoaging on the skin, increases development of wrinkles and increases aging. So all of these things damage the skin, and that is why there is a role of sunscreen usage. There is also generation of free radicals which can further cause cell damage, and there can also be a stimulation of more melanin synthesis, which is the reason why we might see that the pigmentation becoming much more when a sunscreen is not applied. Though with all this sunscreen usage, there is now an increasing risk of vitamin D deficiency, but it has been shown that in case if you are using mild to moderate, there is still a sun exposure, then vitamin D deficiency may not happen. So coming to what exactly a sunscreen is. A sunscreen is any application based product which is decreasing, it is either absorbing or it is reflecting UV radiation. Now the sunscreens are broadly of two kinds. It can be a physical blocker or a chemical blocker. A physical sunscreen is a sunscreen which is like a zinc oxide or a titanium dioxide containing sunscreen, which by and large reflects the UV radiation. Most of the sunscreen which you see more of cricketers and people who have heavy UV exposure using, they have more of physical sunscreens. Physical sunscreens are mostly inert, but with the emergence of nanoparticles in the sunscreen, it has been shown that these can cause certain hormonal disturbances also. Now coming to chemical sunscreens. Chemical sunscreens are basically molecules which cause reflection as well as absorption of UV radiation. Now to stabilize these chemicals in a sunscreen, they are photostabilizers. So photostabilizers are mixed with these chemical sunscreen, which are important to give a shelf life to these sunscreens. So when a photostabilizer is added, it increases the longevity of a sunscreen. But at the same time, every sunscreen comes with an expiry, and it is important that you should not use a sunscreen beyond an expiry date. Now why sunscreens may expire is because beyond a certain expiry date, there can be degradation of these chemical sunscreen molecules because the photostabilizers have a life, and because of this the sunscreen may not remain as effective. Also, choosing a right sunscreen is important because it can cause certain skin problems like allergy, skin rashes if there is a chemical which is irritating the skin. It can also cause certain chemical reactions. Say sunscreens when wrongly used may also increase tanning. Now it is important to understand that when you are choosing a sunscreen, you should be sure that which sunscreen you should use. Now there are certain properties when you should look for when you are using a sunscreen, and the first and the most important is a SPF. Now SPF is also the sun protection factor, and it is a measure of UVB, how much the sunscreen prevents against UVB radiation. If a sunscreen has an SPF of 15, let's say, then you can be exposed to sun 15 times more than which was to cause a sunburn when you are not using it. Similarly, you may have sunscreens of 45 SPF, and these days we also have sunscreens of more than 60 SPF. So there is a wide range as far as the SPF is concerned. The UVA the beneficial effect of UVA is measured in terms of the UVA protection factor, as well as now the recent sunscreens have a boot star rating. Now a boot star rating is something which is a measurement of both UVA and a UVB protection, and a boot star rating ranges from 1 to 5, and anything which ranges from 4 to around 4 or 5 is a good sunscreen. Now an ideal property of a sunscreen that it should be inert, it should be less visible, it should form a layer on your skin without being visible and without irritating your skin or increasing sweating. It should not react with any of your skin treatments which are going on, and it should be pleasant, odorless. So all of these things should be there when you are choosing a sunscreen. Luckily, with the wide range of pharmaceutical companies, we have a huge range of sunscreens with a huge range of base of sunscreen. Now what exactly is a base of sunscreen is, you can have a sunscreen which is a cream based, a lotion based, a gel based, or a spray based sunscreen. So depending on whether your skin is oily or dry, you can choose a sunscreen. If you have a very dry skin, you should use a cream or a lotion based sunscreen. Whereas if you have an acne prone skin or an oily skin, a sunscreen which is matte finish would be preferred. Now whenever you are applying a sunscreen, you should take care that you should apply a sunscreen at least 15 to 20 minutes before sun exposure. The average requirement of a sunscreen is around 2 mg per centimeter square. So you have to apply an adequate quantity of a sunscreen to make it effective. Also, when you apply a sunscreen, it takes around 15 to 20 minutes to form a layer. So you should apply it at least 15-20 minutes before sun exposure. You should also take care that when you are applying a sunscreen, the sunscreen is not going to stay for more than 3 hours. So if you are exposed to sun beyond 3 hours, it is important that you have to reapply a sunscreen. Now sometimes we do get queries from patients that, I am applying a sunscreen, doctor, and still I am not experiencing good sun protection. Now there can be many reasons why you might be facing this. One is that ideally you are not applying it adequately, or it can be because you are not reapplying it. So ideally, if you are not reapplying the sunscreen and you get out in the morning, it is important that you have to reapply, because the sunscreen is not going to be effective after 2-3 hours. So this is an important part of your treatment. Now comes to other things like when and who should use a sunscreen. Now ideally, anyone who has sensitive skin should use a sunscreen. If you are having a pigmentation disorder or you are opting for skin whitening treatment, that person is an ideal candidate for using a sunscreen. If you feel that after you go out in the sun, you have a tendency to sunburn or tan, you are also an ideal candidate, and you should also use a sunscreen. Now it is also important that the sunscreen should be non-comedogenic. Why? Because we get a lot of acne patients in our practice, who ask for a sunscreen, and it is important that such patients should be given a sunscreen which is chemically inert and is non-comedogenic. Now, what exactly we mean by non-comedogenic? Many sunscreens, they cause an increase in acneiform eruptions, and an acneiform eruption is something which we don't want the acne patients to have. So they should use a sunscreen which is non-comedogenic, so it doesn't increases the comedone formation. Now, there are also some people who ask that a higher SPF sunscreen, and what is the exact SPF sunscreen which should be used. Now, if you have a pigmentation disorder, you should use a sunscreen which is at least around 45 SPF, but if you are just using for sun protection, a sunscreen which is around 26 to 30 SPF should also suffice. In between, I am completing my lecture, so you can also post your queries, because we will be answering all your queries which you post us after and over with the talk. Now, there is also other sunscreen indices like UVA protection, PA system, which are also there, and ideally you should always look at a sunscreen bottle and check out all these factors when you are buying it. The important things which you should look out is the composition of a sunscreen, whether you are choosing a physical sunscreen, a chemical sunscreen. Now, there are certain chemicals in sunscreen which are now banned, so they should be free of those chemicals, which are basically oxybenzones, which have been shown to cause skin damage and trigger skin cancer. So you should be very careful when you are choosing a sunscreen. Ideally choose a sunscreen which suits your skin, and you may have to spend a little more for choosing a good sunscreen, but it is going to help you only when you buy a good sunscreen for yourself. There is also an increased number of studies which have come up, and since now vitamin D has become an essential part of our life, it is not just a vitamin, it is also a hormone. So there has been a debate that excess use of sunscreen, we will see a lot of people with more of vitamin D deficiency. So what should be done for it? See, ideally if you are exposed to at least 5 to 30 minutes of sun, and your arms and legs are exposed, that is generally enough to cause a vitamin D synthesis. So practically it is not that if you are using a sunscreen, you will be vitamin D deficient, but at the same time you should be sure that there could be other reasons why you could also be getting vitamin D deficiencies. So you should be clear about your vitamin D status, and in case you are deficient, you should always add on with a vitamin D supplementation. We don't want you to use a sunscreen and be vitamin D deficient, but if you are using a sunscreen, it is not really going to cause you unless and until you are really overusing a vitamin D deficiency. Now, we also face this problem of, some people may ask that what sunscreen should I use, whether I should use a physical sunscreen or I should use a chemical sunscreen. Now, ideally, you can even use a mix of both physical and chemical sunscreen. In case you have a very sensitive skin, then in those cases, we prefer that you have a sunscreen which is more physical, because a physical sunscreen is more inert as compared to a chemical sunscreen. Also, there is now another term which is known as a broad spectrum sunscreen. Now, a broad spectrum sunscreen is basically a sunscreen which is giving you a protection against both UVA and UVB. So when you are protected against both UVA and UVB, it is a broad spectrum sunscreen. It is also important to understand that some of the sunscreen also give a coverage towards infrared radiation. So you may also have a sunscreen which covers you for both UVA, UVB and infrared radiation. So you may actually have a very broad sunscreen which covers both of these spectrum. Now, ideally, if you use a sunscreen, you should see and check that your sunscreen is covering both UVA, UVB and infrared radiation. It is also important that certain terms like waterproof and sweatproof and sunblock agents are not recommended anymore. So you should just check a sunscreen, and it can be a water resistant sunscreen. So water resistant sunscreen is a sunscreen which you use while swimming, and normally we prefer that you should use a sunscreen in a spray form because of the ease of application which you will have while you are swimming. Now there were certain other things which we would like to clarify. They are agents like oxybenzone and octinoxate which may cause certain harmful damage. So these products should not be used in a sunscreen. There have been incidences when you have water sunscreen and it has caused an allergic reaction. So yes, sunscreen, especially chemical sunscreen, can cause allergic reactions. There can be a lot of factors while you are caused by. There can be an allergic reaction. One is the product choice is not good, and you should not apply a sunscreen on a damaged skin. So whenever you have a lot of eruptions or you have a skin breakouts, that is the time when you should not use a sunscreen or any other occlusive agent for that matter. The sunscreens which are available these days, on a rough estimate, around 1 tablespoon of sunscreen has to be applied for the face, and around 2 ounces of sunscreen should be used for the body. So that is quite a good amount, and you should be sure that especially when you are going for your beach holidays, you should be using an adequate and a good sunscreen. So just to brief about, these were the few important things which one should know when you are using a sunscreen. And after this, now I am starting with the question and answer sessions which has been posted. So coming and starting with the question and answers, our first question. Okay, so Mr. Bipin, you have asked a question about which age one can apply a physical sunscreen. So a physical sunscreen can be used by even any infant who is above 6 months of age. So broadly, above 6 months of age, anyone can use a physical sunscreen. Okay, Aman, you are asking a question that during lockdown in indoors, we only need to apply a chemical sunscreen or a combination of physical sunscreen. Aman, you can continue with the sunscreen which you are using, because besides the sun radiation, there are also a lot of lights which we have at home which also do radiate a lot of UV radiation. So staying indoors doesn't give you 100% protection against UV damage. So you can use the sunscreen which you have been using before, even during the lockdown period. Okay, one interesting and a very important question Rani has asked us is, can I wear makeup that has sunscreen in it? See Rani, you can have a lot of foundations which may have sunscreen mixed with it. So, but the SPF and the sun protection factor or a boot star rating of such a sunscreen is going to be much lesser. So what I generally recommend is either you can apply a foundation or then apply a sunscreen, or if you are using a if you are going out in the sun, which is and the chances of tanning and UV damage is more, you can even combine both of them and then use it. In case you are taking a pigmentation based treatment, your choice of sunscreen has to be really good. You cannot just use a makeup based sunscreen, because that might give you a less protection, may still cause sun damage, and you might feel that you are using a sunscreen in the foundation, so you have good protection, but may not be enough to protect you. So it is important that you need to check the SPF of your makeup based sunscreen, and if it matches with the SPF of the sunscreen advised to you by the doctor, it is fine. Otherwise you can change your sunscreen. Aman has asked us another question, that if children at the age of 10 and above are actively participating in outdoor sports and getting exposed to sun, then definitely they should use a sunscreen, and a good SPF of around 45 should be good. We should also check that how long is the duration of sun exposure outdoors, and we can always reapply a sunscreen after 2 to 3 hours to prevent the UV radiation from damaging the skin. In children, another important point I like to focus upon is sometimes when the children are coming back home from outdoor activity, they might feel that they don't wash your faces. So that might just increase the incidences of acne eruptions. So please be sure that you are requesting such children, because you are using a good SPF. So you should always wash off the sunscreen once you come back home. Dinesh is asking a question that my skin is oily. Is it advisable for what sunscreen is advisable for an oily skin? So Dinesh, we have lot of sunscreens which have matte finish and they are very pleasant, and you will not have that sticky sensation when you apply it. So you should choose one of those sunscreens, and that's going to really help you and you'll like it. There's another question from our viewers, and they have asked us that can I be allergic to a sunscreen? Yes, ma'am. Especially in case you are using a chemical sunscreen, there can be an incidence of allergy. So if you are allergic to a sunscreen, you can always opt for a physical sunscreen, which is safer, and the chances of having allergy will be much lesser. What are the signs of skin cancer? Okay, so Savitri, there are a lot of signs of skin cancers. You can have lesions which are little like moles, and you can have a sudden increase in size of these lesions. They can be cauliflower-like lesions, and many of these lesions are friable and they bleed on touch. So practically any pigmented lesion which looks like a mole, which is either growing in size or it is bleeding on touch and you don't think it is healing, do consult your doctor, and you need a screening for skin cancer. Okay, Sachin, your question is that which sunscreen is good for melasma. So a broad spectrum sunscreen which covers UVA, UVB and infrared radiation is a good sunscreen for melasma. Okay. So you are asking, Mr. Ram Singh is asking a question that please suggest a sunscreen in summer season for the entire family. So a broad spectrum sunscreen you can use for the entire family will be something like La Shield. If your kids have acne prone skin, then Acne UV Gel, which is available in 2 strengths, is also a good option. What precaution should one take when using a sunscreen? First and foremost, the precaution which one should take while you are using a sunscreen, Suman, is your quantity of sunscreen, the SPF, and the method which you are applying. Whether you are applying it 15-20 minutes prior, because if you are applying it immediately before sun exposure, you may not be adequately protected. The sunscreen takes enough time to form a layer and give you a protection. So it is important that you are using adequate SPF and applying a sunscreen in adequate amounts. You need to reapply a sunscreen after 3 to 4 hours. That is also important because applying it once doesn't give you a cover throughout the day. You need to cover the time period from 10 to 4 because that is the time when maximum UV radiation is there. So your time period needs to be covered well. Now, which sunscreen provides better sun protection, gel based and lotion based? So Dhananjay, both of these provide adequate sun protection. You just need to be sure of the SPF and the boot star rating. Is sunscreen only meant for tanning? This is by Ruby. No, Ruby, you have sunscreens for tanning, you have sunscreens for decreasing blemishes, for treating pigmentation disorders. It is an essential part of your anti-aging regime because they decrease sun damage and decrease photoaging. These days we are lucky because we have sunscreens with hyaluronic acid molecules, we have sunscreen with anti-pollution agents. So there is a very broad spectrum which you can choose for. So a sunscreen is beneficial for multiple things and not just tanning. Okay, yes, you need to use a sunscreen on a cloudy day because still there is a lot of UV radiation penetrating. So you still need to be protected with a sunscreen even on a cloudy day. In fact, that's a very valid question because sometimes we do feel that it's cloudy or it's winter, so we can avoid a sunscreen. But no, you do require a sunscreen even during a cloudy day. So that's important to use a sunscreen even during a cloudy day in the same manner. Can we use a sunscreen on dry skin along with a moisturizer? Yes, Shiv Shankar, there is no problem. You can first apply a moisturizer if your skin is very dry after you wash your face, and after using the moisturizer you can use your sunscreen, so that's not a problem at all. Now, what is the importance of sunscreen in acne patients? See, in acne it's important to understand that you have a lot of marks, you have a tendency to tan, and all the acne are healing with pigmentation marks. So a sunscreen in acne has a lot of roles. Not only it will help in clearing up your skin well, it is also going to reduce tanning, it is also going to reduce your blemishes formation, it is practically going to help you give a more clear skin and much faster. Along with this, when you are using acne based products, something like topical retinoids, they are increasing your photosensitivity, and using a non-comedogenic is going to help you. When you have acne, you are also on some antibiotics like doxycycline and tetracycline, which itself may initiate sun damage. So using a sunscreen is going to help it. And there can be an acne induced pigmentation as well as a UV induced pigmentation. So the sunscreen is going to protect you for both. So there are multiple benefits of using sunscreens while you have acne. So Ruby, what is a broad spectrum sunscreen? A broad spectrum sunscreen is a sunscreen which covers and gives you protection against both UVA and UVB sun damage. So any sunscreen which gives you a protection against both of these is a broad spectrum sunscreen. So what does the SPF number signify? The SPF number is a sun protection factor, and the sun protection factor is the duration by which you can expose yourself to sunlight before causing sun damage or sunburn. If if the sunscreen has an SPF of 20, you can stay in sun 20 times more than when you are not applying the sunscreen and not have a sunburn. So this is what is the significance of an SPF number. Kavya, does sunscreen works better than covering up? Yes, when we are talking about sun protection broadly, sunscreen is the first and the most important. Along with this, we do advise patients to cover their face, use a broad brimmed hat, wear broad glass sunglasses, so which are all additional agents. We also tell our patients to wear thick woven cotton clothes because they are also going to absorb or reflect the sunlight. So these factors help you in addition to using a sunblock, but it is not that you should use only a cover up and not a sunscreen. Okay, Ruby has another question of that, how can I reduce the oil production in my skin? I think, Ruby, you have an oily skin and you need to consult a doctor. You need to be prescribed certain oral agents maybe, which reduces your oil formation. And definitely you should not use an oily sunscreen. You should use something which is more matte. Right now, oral sunscreens are also available, and is it effective as topical sunscreen? Yes, Jine, there are a lot of oral sunscreens available in the market. Yes, they are available and they are effective as well. And if affordability is not a problem and you are willing to take an oral medication, you can take a combination of both an oral sunscreen as well as application based sunscreen. So when you are combining it, definitely you are going to enhance your outcome, and yes, oral sunscreens can be used. What is the best SPF for use, ma'am, for dry skin? See, if you are having a pigmentation disorder, I would recommend a sunscreen between 45 to 60 SPF. Otherwise, anything between 26 to 30 also will be fine. Okay, there is another question of whether which is a better sunscreen, spray or a cream. See, both of these are good. You don't, I can't really say that you use a cream or a spray, but if you are applying a sunscreen for an extensive area, I would prefer a spray sunscreen. Whereas if you have to apply a sunscreen just on the face, then you can use a cream based sunscreen. We have a question from Sunita. My daughter is 8 years old and during summers she gets tanned very frequently. can I apply to her any sunscreen or anything specific? See, ma'am, you need to be sure that one thing what we commonly see is that you might be applying a sunscreen. Just check that if you are using the adequate quantity and are you reapplying it every 2 to 3 hours. And sometimes your sunscreen which you are using is not going to give you a protection against UVA. So if you are getting tanning, then it is a sign that your child is having a more of UVA based sun damage, and you need to combine a sunscreen which is a broad spectrum and which is covering both UVA and UVB for a good result. So only when you are using a good sunscreen with both UVA and UVB, you are using a sunscreen in adequate quantity, you are using a sunscreen regularly and at required intervals, you will see the tanning will not happen. So don't feel that you are getting tanning because even though you are using a sunscreen, there is something else which needs to be worked upon. How is the effectiveness of sunscreen measured? Yes, we did discuss it. You can measure it with an SPF factor, a Boot Star rating, or a UVA protection factor. Okay, there have been incidences. There's a question which says that can sunscreen cause health problems? Yes, the most common vitamin D deficiency. It can also lead to certain hormonal issues because some of the sunscreen, the chemical sunscreen are estrogen derivative, and they may cause a hormonal disturbances because quite a bit amount of product can be absorbed by the body. These are the common things which we are noticing. Okay, so that's all. I think we have answered all your queries. If you have any other query, you can feel free to post it. I'll be happy to help you. See, there's another question by Nishima. Ma'am, can sunscreen help in aging of skin or oneself? See, sunscreen is important because it is anti-aging. It is going to reduce your skin damage by free radicals, by decreasing melanin synthesis, and it is also anti-aging. It decreases the wrinkle formation. So sunscreens do help in anti-aging, and anyone who is using a sunscreen, it is important because it is one of the first thing which anyone who comes to us with an aging problem or a pigmentation issue, or in generally who asks us for skin pigmentation related issue, has to be given. So sunscreen is something which is a very basic thing in everyone's routine, and we have a wide spectrum of sunscreens which you can choose from, and depending on what your skin concern is, you can actually choose an appropriate sunscreen. So just to summarize, most important is practically everyone needs a sunscreen because all girls want to look beautiful and maintain a youthful skin. So sunscreens are important against photo-aging, sun damages, reducing blemishes. So you need to use a sunscreen to maintain a good skin. You should use a good sunscreen, a good brand with a good broad spectrum, and apply rightly. So this is an advice which I like to give you. And if you have any queries, you can get in touch with us. I think we have already posted the contact details, and for all your queries, I'll be happy to help you. You can always share it with us.